everyone, it is Chantel here from Studio Expansion, and welcome to another one of our beautiful studio owner superstar spotlights. And today I could not be more proud to introduce you to the very brilliant Elena Lambrinos, and she is one of our Evolution members, Studio Evolution members. And this is a woman who is going to be sharing with you some of her wisdom and experience of that very fraught, sometimes anxiety creating topic of implementing a studio management system into your studio. Now, Elena is the principal of Dance Domain here in Sydney, and is also completing her PhD in Sociology of Dance Education. And there are few studio owners I know with as much heart-built passion for dance and inclusion and quality of education in our industry, and which is why I'm so proud to introduce you to her today. So thank you so much for being with us. We're very excited to connect with you.
Excited to be here too.
It's going to be lovely. So, gorgeous one. One of the first things that we worked on when you joined Studio Evolution was to bring a little more structure to how the business runs, and also to free up your time, because you are a very busy lady juggling a PhD and life and running a studio. So how did you know, apart from me saying it's time, how did you know in yourself that it was you were ready to bring in a studio management system into your studio?
So I knew it was right for me when the processes that used to be really sleek and used to work really well no longer worked really well. I think when you're running kind of like a small fry operation, an Excel spreadsheet really does work. And I love an Excel spreadsheet, you know, like anyone else. And that's how I started. And for me, it was fine at the start. But then things started getting bigger and a little bit more complex. And all of a sudden, the simple solution was no longer the simple solution. I always find, you know, if you're trying to get something done and you're doing like 3, 4, 5, 7 clicks to get it done, it's no longer a simple solution. And another big sign for me was also I had brought on an admin assistant, the wonderful Grace, who is just like she's not even my right hand. She's like my lungs. And I realized me trying to teach her, like, it's so fine because you're like, oh, so-and-so said something about payment, or so-and-so this, and you've got it up here. But then like someone else doesn't have that, and there's no way to clearly communicate that. So having that extra person on board, I really needed a clear system that was like, here, go do this. This is it. This is how we're running now.
That's a really good little decision-making process. Like if it takes you 6 or 7 clicks to get something done, there's too much complexity. Yeah. That's a really cool little hack. I like that. It was really
it's
smart.
Like if it's a pain for you, stop it.
Yes. If it's a pain, stop it. So another quick question on this topic. You know, I think a lot of studio owners push off bringing one in because, you know, they can do it all themselves. And I guess for you, it was that trigger of having someone else on team to be able to bring it on. But why else do you think a lot of studio owners resist implementing a studio management system into their business?
Probably a couple of reasons. I think some people generally have a fear of technology and just something new and unknown. And it is quite scary because you're actually relying on something else. You're relying on something else and another team of people to do something that you had full control over. And I think that is quite daunting. If you don't understand it, it's like, how do I work with it and how do I use it? And that's quite scary as well. Yeah. And there's, of course, like, let's not even hide it, the extra cost of it as well. Yep. So for some people that is really scary. That's some just off the top of my head.
I mean, let's talk about that. Like the cost is significant, and I totally agree. Would you say, in hindsight, in retrospect, has the kind of the balance worked itself out in the wash? Like the time you're spending, the time you're saving by having, really?
Yeah, it's not even an issue. And I ended up going with one that was a little bit more expensive, but had some things on offer for me. But it had what I wanted, and I don't even notice it because now the collection of fees is so much more streamlined that I actually have more money now than when I did before, to be very, very honest, just because, and I have more time. So we go into it thinking, oh, scary spending money, but really it's fine.
That's very simple. Win more money, more time, two of our favorite things to have more of. Yay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of go into how you went through that process. There are so many studio management softwares out there, from Jackrabbit down to Studio Pro, Studio Director, Studio Pulse. Like, there are so many out there to choose from, and often, like, when you bring them all up, they're very similar. How did you go about making the decision to choose which one was right for you?
I'm big on research. It's something that I love to do. So that was the first thing I did. I went and
says the PhD student.
researched the hell out of it. But they're, and you put them next to each other, and those little things where it's like little tick boxes for everything that they offer and they don't. And like, you put them all up to each other, and there's only a few little areas where they actually really differ. And this is why it's really important for you to do it personally and think about your studio. There's no point talking to your studio owner friend who uses Dance Studio Pro, because maybe Jackrabbit is actually the one for you. So it's really important you do the work yourself, and you ask yourself, what do you actually want from your studio management system? If you want to be able to bulk text people, you're going to go with this one. If that is just like, couldn't even care less about that, then you're going to go with another one. So get your goals, what do you want from it? And then shop with that in mind, I would say, as a starting point.
Yeah, really good advice, because it's interesting. I get asked essentially every second day which studio management software I would recommend, and it really is a personal thing. Yeah. And the other advice that I give every second day is that there is not one perfect software out there. Nope. There's this mythical unicorn style software that's going to be perfect for your studio, and unfortunately, unless you develop a custom one, which I don't really recommend because it's so glitchy, you're looking for like 85%.
Yeah.
If it ticks 85, it meets 85% of your needs, we're doing pretty well. There is not going to be that perfect solution. Yeah. And I know that you think it should be, but at the end of the day, if it does majority, you're good.
And it's really interesting, because I think often we go into it looking for that, but we're the people that didn't even have it to begin with. So how did we go from like 0 to it must be 100%? Like, there's got to be some sort of little spectrum in there.
Do you find as well that I know with many of the softwares, they're so robust, there's so much functionality that sometimes you don't actually end up using all of the features anyway?
I was actually thinking, when I got called on to do this, I was like, this is hilarious. Like, there's still so much I'm still learning about it. I'm like, I can do this much of it. And the one that I went with can do so much more. And I'm excited about that. But, baby steps. I'm going to get it to take payments first, and da-da-da-da-da.
So let's talk about that process. Like, you've chosen it, you kind of start doing the onboarding and get everything going. How did you work that delicate place of transitioning many, many things and communicating it to your families and the students, like, getting them on board with this new system? How did you communicate it? How did you get people familiar? How did you calm any potential unease? Was it a pretty smooth experience? And what kind of advice would you have for a studio owner who's about to do this?
I think the number one advice I'd give to anyone is just to calm your farm, as I like to say. Things will always go wrong. My younger brother is a software developer, and technology is glitchy, and new technology is glitchy. Like, that's just life. But people understand that. I'm fortunate enough to be right in the centre of Sydney, and city life. People get it. So in terms of communicating it to parents, it was literally as simple as, this is what we have now. It was like, it's much like signing up your kids for swimming online, or even, I said, it's much like purchasing anything online. You go in, you select what you want, put in your details, and off you go, you're done. So I think simple is key. It's not stressful, even though it might have been stressful for you to set up, it should not be a stress for them. And I think the next thing is to always acknowledge the fact that it is new, and that it is a work in progress. So things will go wrong, hands down. If you've had like a smooth onboarding process for tech, well then woof for you, because it just doesn't happen normally. So just accept that and be honest. I'm really honest in all of my communication with my families, and when things went wrong, and they're tiny, it was like, oh, I put in these classes and it's come up with $7,000, and they're like, I was like, okay, something's gone wrong. Give me 2 seconds. I'll chat to the developers and we'll fix it. Thanks for your patience. Done. Simple.
Easy. Yeah. Did you give people like a window of time to transition to the different payment collection, or was it kind of like, we're all coming in this together?
We actually because of what we needed to do in the back end of ours, we had ours a little bit customized. We actually did a progressive rollout. So we had a few, about half the studio sort of signed up at the start. Anyone that had a real simple case, like 1 or 2 classes, off you go. We just gave it them, you know, at the start of the year, start of term 1 this year, and said, here you go, here's our new system. This is how you do it. Off you go. Enjoy. You know, we'll see you in class. And then term 2 and 3, we rolled a few more people over onto it. So it was a bit of a, you know, we're still going through it now, actually, and there's a few that are just about to come on, and then we'll be done. So to be honest, I've actually allocated myself the whole year to really smooth it out. So after term 1 was done, we signed up for term 2, and there are a few more glitches, but that's the first term 2 we ever had. So we'll never have that again, and that's the way it is. So I allowed myself a really big window to work with.
And that's probably very sensible. Like, you know, it's always that, just keep your expectations realistic, that there are going to be kind of some hitches, but it will come through, and everyone comes over in time. And my other like favorite thing on this is my 2 favorite words, like easy enrollment, effortless. It's so simple, it's convenient. Like just singing that to the cows come home, and every bit of communication about transitioning over to this new system. Easy,
my favorite,
simple,
my personal,
convenient,
super easy. Everything for me is just like super easy. It's like, nah, it's not even a thing. Super easy. Pop your details in, take your class. We'll see you in class. Done.
Super easy. Was that super easy? Just repeating it ad verbatim. Yeah. I like it. It does help to reassure them when you come across as confident and that this is the best thing for us. It's going to make your life super easy. They can't help but feel, okay, I'll do it.
And then the other thing is in that as well, I think, is just to make sure when little things do go wrong, don't be tense or worried or show it, because everyone knows that things happen. All these people work, they've dealt with technology before. So if you make it into a big issue, then you create doubt of your system and doubt in yourself. It's just something like, okay, I'll fix it for you and get back to you ASAP. Super easy.
The golden words. That is such beautiful advice, because I think and because we want to deliver such a flawless experience, we care about the perception and the experience on the other end, that it can be so personal. And, you know, it's tempting to write off a very feisty email to the software company and and at the end of the day, though, it's just often just takes a little bit of time and everything can get sorted.
Can I give a little recommendation on that you've just sort of
I'd like you to.
Your developers and your company are your best friends. And I think it's so important. It's so important that you plan it out, but also know that their skill is in development and coding and putting things together. So if you don't present them with something that makes sense, then they can't help you. So you've really got to give them the information. And they're doers. They're freaking amazing, but they're doers. So they're not mind readers. They don't know how Dance Studio works, how your specific payment system works. So really work with them and, you know, and they'll be there to help you.
And you always get more with honey. You always get more with honey than this.
And admitting the fact that, absolutely. Admitting the fact that was actually your fault for communicating it that way when you actually meant to. Sorry.
It's a learning curve. It is quite a process, but I guess at the end of the day, it's so worth it to have that level of, you know, reporting and being able to being the transparency of seeing your numbers in your business at the drop of a hat, and giving that convenience to family. I mean, it is such an evolution in the growth of a studio when you transition to a studio management system like these, and truly, it's one of the most important things that we can help your business to do. So, what advice or tips would you, just kind of in summation, what is your best advice for someone who's like, oh, I'm nervous, I kind of want to do it, but I'm not sure? What advice would you give a studio owner in that position?
So I've thought of a few different little pearls of wisdom here, all based on my own failures. So the first one, as we talked around before, was to shop around. And a lot of these ones actually do free trials. So sign up to them all. Like, sign up, do a 7-day, 14-day free trial, whatever they offer, and actually have a little poke around. Like, if you can't figure out how to find where someone is scheduling a class, maybe it's too difficult. Consider the communication that you have with that company as well. If they're really responsive to you from the start, it's a good sign. And then the other thing I would say would be plan. If you're going to change prices, do it before. Really look at your pricing structure, because if you have this mangled price list of like 17 different variables, and if she's here, then she's that, and then this is that. But then if it's 45 minutes minus this much, it's too much. No system can do that. You know, it's a mess. So really streamline your pricing structure and make it simple to work with. So that, I think, is just paramount. And then think about it as like the whole pipeline. Like, how do you want someone to sign up? What are the common ways people sign up? How can you make that simpler? How will people actually interact with that? So the more you plan that out before you go to a company and try and you know, and you sign on, you'll realize, oh, well, hang on, this company actually doesn't do that, so they're not for me. And it'll be so much easier than trying to like smush a brick through like a Play-Doh smusher, you know. Go simple. And then I got another little note. Oh yes, so record any things that go wrong for future plans and figure out why. So I've set up my system in a particular way this year, and there are things about it that I'm going to remove next year and change. And it's totally in your right as a studio owner with some powerful software to do that. So whether it be in my personal case, we opted payment plans for terms. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's just too much fuss for me. Just upfront for terms. So we did upfront and payment plans because I was like, oh, I can help people. It's fine. Not many people are using it. Maybe 5, 6 people are. It's extra work for me. Change it. So anything that goes wrong or changes or you think could be done better, know that you can change it.
And I suppose like what you were just saying is it's such a wonderful opportunity to look at that pipeline, to look at the things you're currently doing and go review, okay, well, what's actually working and what's not. It reminds me of another one of our Evolution members, Amanda, and I know she's just recently transitioned to a studio management software for the first time as well. And we took her pricing, was it 21? She had 21 different variables.
It was mental.
On, and she came to one of our Evolution retreats, and like it was on the Friday, and we said her like homework, by the time we see you tomorrow, you need to have simplified this out. And she like spent the night like with paper and she got it down to 2 levels, 2 pricing tiers. That's it. And that level of simplicity when you're looking at a studio management software is what makes your life and parents as well. I think it makes it so much easier. And huge. So when you said before that if you're going to change your pricing, do that before, did you mean like do that, actually have that all rolled out before and then bring on the studio management system, or kind of like think the pricing and then roll it out together? Yeah,
less of the actual like doing it, but just have thought of it before. So if you're making any changes to things, if you're changing any discounts or you're even pondering it, like you might do it in the future, now's a good time to just have it and get it done. So allocate yourself that little bit of extra time in planning, pricing, how you're going to work in the studio. Maybe you're structuring programs differently. Have a little think before you lock yourself into something, and it'll just make your life a little bit simpler later on. But you know, the good thing about software is it really is tweakable. So if something does change, you can generally change it. So don't stress too much.
I have one more question that just to get your gut feeling on this is for a studio owner who's wanting to roll this out, how long in advance should they kind of give themselves for this planning, plus also integrating and uploading of all their current data in? Like, what's the kind of timeline would you say approximately has been for you?
I mean, it really depends on the person. I'm someone that just likes to like suck it up and smash it out, because if you're going to do it, like, just do it. But you know, everyone's different. In hindsight, I probably could have not overhauled my website and done this at the same time, and it would have been a little bit smoother. But you know, whatever. I would think, I've heard someone say that like 6 months for a studio management system, and I was like, not true. Honestly, like that's just so long. Like, holy crap, that's like you can bake a baby in almost that time. I honestly think, I've had a mental blank of the question again. How long?
2-3 months, are you thinking? How long did that? 2-3 months. You kind of give to
2-3 months is realistic, I think, in terms of like the to and fro that sort of is required between you and the company or the developer and getting things tested out and rolled out. I think that's totally
you want to try and break it as well. I think that's quite fun. Like, so you get all the data in there, you get everything set up, and then it's like, okay, this weekend we're going to try and break the software.
That's what I was going to say.
Did you guys do that? Have a break the software party?
Our migration just broke it totally. And here's a little tip. Sometimes migration isn't actually useful. We actually ended up not going with migration. We just went with, hey, sign yourselves up. Why am I sitting here typing in all your bloody information when they can do it themselves. And for me, I have the old data in spreadsheets. If I didn't use it then, I'm not going to use it now, and I can pull numbers from that manually if I want. So I actually, we started with migrating, and then it was getting really glitchy for certain things got to do with payment plans, and we just scrapped it. And I said, you know what, let's just get the parents to migrate, enroll themselves. And it was so easy. So have a little think, if you are migrating, what are you migrating? If you've come from zero, you're probably, they can put their own address in, if you're, and zero, not accounting system, I meant from naught. There's nothing that you really need to migrate over. So,
and that's a really interesting point. Is that so many students all the past data in, it can actually be more expensive for you to run. So sometimes it's good to have up until this date, it was on this system and that's where it was. And then looking forward, this is how we now track our data. So that is a really very sensible bit of advice. Yeah. All about easy. Super easy, in fact. Super easy. Super easy. Catchphrase from today. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I hope it's really helped to dispel any kind of fears or around for any other studio owner who's wanting to do this but not quite seeing the process. It's definitely worthwhile doing, and we're just so grateful that you're able to share your brilliance and your wisdom with us. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you. Good luck. Go and do it. Yes. Super easy. It's super easy. Super easy. So if you would like any more information, super easy. If you would like any more information on how a program like Studio Evolution can give you that support and guidance on making beautiful transformation in your studio, please go to studioexpansion.com/evolution. And we just adore our members so much and are so committed to helping them to really make the big, important transformations in their studio. And someone like Elena is a beautiful testament to that. So thank you very much for your time again, lovely one. And everyone, will be back next month with more of our wonderful Studio Spotlight interviews. So thanks everyone, and have a lovely day. Bye.